What you doing, Stinky? Huh? What are you doing? What are you doing, Stinky? Oh, you're taking a poop on live? Oh. Oh, look at my flowers. They're doing so well this year. Yeah, they're doing good. Ooh, they were so little. Now they are sprouting. Yes. Well, it was raining this morning. I had a little bit of trouble of logging in on that old regular YouTube channel as I always do. I always do. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to my live. Happy 4th of July. I'm glad, astounded that the fireworks wasn't so bad last night. And since Teddy's hearing is kind of deteriorating a little bit, he wasn't affected by it at all. None. None. All right, you can come on in so I can see who's the top fans. I'm just coming on to say thank you. Let me turn on the camera. Thank you. Thank you to everybody who has continuously stayed to support the channel as I slowly try to grow the morning wood. Why? It's not even morning. It's past the morning wood time, isn't it? it's, it's past that. It is. It's going to be another hot day. I got to get my hair down. Uh, my people are on the way to finish up the work around the house today, so I have to do that. A lot of stuff to do. It is 8. I know what time it is. It's about 8. Oh, thank you for being the first top fan, Michael. Thank you. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I do come on a lot. I just been busy a lot, so yeah, all of that stuff. But I appreciate that. Thanks, Michael. Um, right now I'm just kind of doing some random talk. Sir Miguel, you looking good over there, boo. You looking good over there on that live. Shout out to you. It was nice seeing Sir Miguel instead of the. Oh no, I'm able to put the voice to Sir Miguel now. Like, who is Sir Miguel? That's what's up. Hi, Jason. Hi. 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 Good morning. But I wanted to just say thanks, you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't come on much to say shout out to the new subscribers, but thank you too. It does help me as I continue to try to, prosper out here on YouTube without a lot of retaliation because sometimes I have the form and the character of retaliating to craziness out here. So I've been trying to decompose that, get rid of it here and there. We don't talk much about, the law because I'm not a law licensed or that knowledgeable with y'all USA law stuff, but I've learned a lot going on with a RICO and a Mann Act and all of that stuff. And the more I keep listening to it, the more it still sounds like it is and it ain't, So it's just so much. Jason says free Diddy. Hey, I don't know. I want, like I say, it's so much. Hey, Robin Boo. Hey, it's so much that I'll refrain from saying because, when you're not there, you can kind of only speculate and have your opinions off of the premises of what's written in documents. And, you know, so I don't like to be the one to dictate someone's truth, So shout out to all those people that has that strength and genuine doing it. However, we did, or I did indulge R. Kelly stuff because I started reading a lot of materials and watching all those videos and stuff, and it was just not adding up on a lot of mm, things that people were saying. So that there did catch my attention. Now that I've kind of watched and dilly dabbed into some of the puffy stuff, it kind of sounds the same, and then sometimes it don't sound the same. So I don't know, and I'm with that team that does the praying for situations that occur like this, because that's pretty much all you can do when you don't have the control to do anything further, such as you can't go down there and get them out. You're not going down there to present your case to show innocence for a person. So it's just limits with me. It's like if you had a magic wand, I'll be okay. I don't have that either. I read a comment, and shout out to my sister for putting a comment up. And she said something that, just my eyebrow just kind of raised up. Yeah, I was like, oh, you know what? And it's not verbatim, but she was like, Pap, I think the problem is that you might be too real, kind of too direct, too genuine, and the people that wants to uphold their truth on a lot of BS, will always kind of side eye me or, want to, have me engage into some retaliation or some, shape, form, or fashion. But it is what it is. And I was like, you know what? I guess that could be. I guess, with me not sugarcoating or me not teaming up to say you're right every time can make a person, you know, uh, look at you and act towards you the way that they do. But everybody has a right to their own unless you have done your due diligence of researching or whatever to call out it is what they're doing. Now, I watched the Tisha Tales do her live behind a fenced barricade, and I was like, oh snap, she got security. Then I was first thinking, well, maybe it was just some random people that she was able to pay and to secure her safety down there from a situation that occurred. Now everybody had their perspective on what they thought, whether who was right and who was wrong in that situation. And so did I. Oh, I did, because I was like, oh my goodness, like they get to the end of the road and the verdict is in, and the RICO is a not guilty, and then the transportation, dealing with prostitution and stuff with 2 counts or whatever, came out guilty. Now, I've listened to the Tisha Tales, and that's her story to tell. But of course, I understand that this woman has discovered a whole lot of information by researching and stuff to put together her synopsis out here for everybody, right? But then, she's standing out there, and as everybody else was before it concluded, right? Everybody was in their own little lane. The first thing I'm thinking is like, you know what? This, I'm going to call it an attack because from what I saw, it was an attack um, on her because of her opinion and their predictions of her lying about Diddy was going to be found guilty on the RICO. This is what that whole argument was about. And then, the guy, Ratchet TV, was demanding a public apology, right? So it was, it was just shocking to me because everybody had their own little lane out there. Person over there, person over there. They was kept separated and doing their lives so that you can hear the lives, a few of them. You just kind of hear the background and stuff like that, or watching people engage in Q&As around that courthouse. But this guy just started yelling, so and saying things to Tisha Tales as if while she was trying to deliver her message about what happened in the court before everything concluded and the verdicts came out, and then she was delivering the verdicts. So I'm saying to myself, it, really, at 8 o'clock in the morning? Don't do him like that. I don't give a boy. If you hit my dog,
I fanned him away.
If you hit my dog, my baby brother is here. Y'all want to say hi, Johnny?
What's up?
Hold on. Say hi, Johnny. Say what's up.
You gonna get on me about some dog? Dog can't eat my food.
Yeah, you can't hit my dog. If he eats your food, I will get you more food. But you can't hit Teddy.
You moved him out the way.
You can't shoot him. He gets what he want when he want it.
That's why he act like that.
I don't care.
He act like a girl.
I don't care.
He act like a female.
You better be lucky you ain't hit him.
I didn't hit him.
It would have been me and you. Hi, Joy Love.
I can run, girl.
I don't give a rat's ass. You wouldn't have been running with them noodles. So, how you doing, boo? So, then became the arguments of whether if, the Ratchet TV guy was right or wrong about what he was doing. Now, keep in mind, I'm looking at it because now I get to make an opinion on this personality of this character, right? And not only that, you have to look at the fact that what went on in Diddy's trial or R. Kelly's trial or any other celebrity's trial that's been going on, for the most part, about the narrative being where the man does a bunch of controlling and can become physical violent against a female. And I don't know if you guys would want to add on verbal also being physical, part of a physical, part of violence, right? So, and I'm sitting here thinking, wow, this was all just displayed about Puffy and Cassie and the video and the violence of that. So, but then now you have this other man, Ratchet TV, that was out there and was, he was saying some things, and Tisha stood her ground, and said some verbalish things back that wasn't cool. But my point that I'm making with that is kind of like how you may see me react. If this is the energy that you want to be profound about with someone, you have to expect at some point you're going to be met, with that same energy may be in a different form, meaning a different type of language that you're not used to. So Tisha Tales comes out to say, something about a busted down, broke, such and such blank. Look, it got hot out here. I gotta go in for a minute because I still have on my robe. That's right, Teddy. Leave them out there. Right. That's my baby brother, y'all. When I tell y'all that boy don't never shut up, he talk all day, kind of something that I'm just kind of not really used to. I'm used to it being quiet and so, and my darn air fryer is really smoking up this damn house. But when it came to that, I kind of understood her. She was being approached, and the approachee was also being prompt, by another young lady, and she was. Sorry, guys, my phone rang. Sorry, sorry, sorry. But sorry, guys, my phone rang. Sorry, sorry, sorry. But so I can understand that too. I understood the level of everyone, animosity or their supporting because of who they support for and who they are against. So hi K baby love, hi sweetheart, sweet K, what's going on? I ain't seen you in a minute. Happy Fourth to you. Happy Fourth to you. So but so I'm just watching this, and then it's because all of this that we see just have these levels to the game. That's how I call it. Because after you've seen all of this stuff, of course, which is fine because this is YouTube, right? And YouTube has all of these different elements up underneath it for you to gain the momentum and the action, the reaction, the payouts and things like that. And it's just us. It's just our culture. Let's just put that on the record. It is our culture to we some nosy people. We love it. We love the drama. We love hate. Let me say that. We love hate. We hate to see that our people are this away towards each other, but we love to see where there can be an opposition that sees things from a different lens and have these diabolical outbursts, conversations and being, rational and irrational. This is just us. But I watched it in one sense of me because, I have feelings and emotions, as a lady, and I've tried to watch and feel the sincereness in Cassie's story, just like I did with the R. Kelly case. I tried to watch a lot of these females and I want to, feel it. I want to see if I can believe you. I want to, I wanted to know. But as it kept going on and on and on, there was so many cons against the females when it came to R. Kelly than it was pros for me. Some of the pros factor that I can find with R. Kelly is that, oh wow, you got to date a celebrity, you got to have the most of what a lot of females would probably wish for or just would dream about it. And then to turn around after, watching R. Kelly in a sense just kind of give and they at these concerts they having time to visit the studios, learn what music land is about and things like that and travel in the cars. And so I'm thinking, and I'm thinking to myself, well, I didn't see the necessary of taking down this man the way that they did in the R. Kelly ops campaign, right? The way I just didn't see that. And I steady watched it and I kept continuing to read and I just could not find it. I could not find it with Azarel at all. I could not find it with a Geronda Pace. I'm agreeing with a whole lot of people out here after I forget who that was that first exposed the Geronda Pace picture standing down at the courthouse with the white pants on and and the signs and wanting an autograph and after the hiccup of what you do to R. Kelly, now your parent is down there and I was like, but And the stories about she should have been in school, she should have been this, and I get it. So you have the ops that says that it shouldn't have mattered about a situation like that, but because of R. Kelly being of this age and this, and maybe he should have ignored her or this or that. And however, when you understand I guess the not the mythology, but the science of the human body, right? And it doesn't, it should have not taken that long, especially with Geronda Pace, right? And you go there and you in this circle and things are not going the way that you think that they should go, and you're leaving and you get to go home and I got it, and you go home and this that, and then you come out with a whole bunch of different story like a person was a monster. So that there just kind of threw me way off, with her, and watching one of her best friends come out and they tell the story, and all of the stuff that was put out by these young girls were all eliminated from being heard in a courtroom, to a juror, the real stories, to allow a jury to deliberate and, come up with a verdict against R. Kelly. So that's the part where I'm like, since they wanted to do all of this and be able to cheat him, and as far as being questioned on stands about everything that they came out and put out and showed out on, then I'm like, I'm going to ride with R. Kelly because you guys cheated him. Because had the jury heard everything down from a whole bunch of these females of their encountering with him, they'd have had a whole different, to me, verdict on R. Kelly. Hi, lady. How are you, sweetheart? And that's just how I feel about it. But then you go, you back over here and with the Diddy thing, and I get it, the difference between him and R. Kelly, in my opinion, doing the research and what they kept saying about R. Kelly, it kept saying it was younger girls, it was underage girls, but they're not saying that there's any underage girls or so with P. Diddy. So that has to be dissected, and broken down so that there is very much so clarity in the difference with, these goddamn man acts and, and the RICO charge, The RICO charge, no, R. Kelly didn't have drugs or he didn't have guns and stuff like that. But, they tied him to a freaking organization. Under the organization, they came with who? The Durham McDavid and the what's the other guy that got to go home after the court proceedings, right? Those two guys got to go home. So right there, that to me should have eliminated his freaking RICO Act. There's no more organization. You let two of them go home. And as the people say out here, one man is just not an enterprise. So how did that happen? So then I'm questioning myself about, okay, this is the attorneys, but then after that, I turn on the TV, then I got Jennifer Bongine live, and she's saying that they were satisfied with, what was it, 6 or 7 counts? They said it, and I was like, well, how do you argue that? How do you even have an opinion against that? His attorneys, whom he hired, whom he paid, said that they were satisfied with the 7, or was it 6 or 7? Somebody stand me correct, please. But I mean, so there's a bit difference, when it comes to the P. Diddy, in my opinion, from what I have been listening to and watching, as far as this man act and stuff goes right now. The 30 years, what I do like about the community out here is that I believe everybody could be in an agreement that 30 years was just outrageous, right? And then now you see Puff Daddy get off, not get off, come back after the liberation from the juror, finding him not guilty of this freaking RICO. But there's thousands of people under their understanding of what the law is saying that he should have been convicted, especially the Tisha Tales, because all of the elements, I don't know if, I've been trying to determine whether if this is running off of personal emotions. I don't, I'm trying to determine that with Tisha Tales, or is she actually interpreting this straight out from up underneath the law? So, yes, Libra, over here you do. You've been rocking, girl. And like I say at the beginning of my video, because I do not say it enough, because, you know, I, I'm I don't know. I'm careful with feelings, Lady Libra, right? Every now and then I'll see somebody pop in or this or that, and I try not to watch much of that going on. But like I say, I have emotions too. I have feelings, so the things that we see, that we hear, that we smell, that we touch, allows those feelings to erupt, and for you to start making either a rational or an irrational decision about people, right? Putting out your perspective. So sometimes I'm just a tad bit reluctant on, coming and doing the shout outs and saying that, hey, I love you guys for supporting my channel or listening to me, vibing with me, because you don't know who people are, and not to bring Audrey name up. But like I say, I thought that I was having just a little cordial conversation because of a statement that came out that I wanted to clear up. And I'm not mad at Audrey. It's a learning experience or whatever. What it does is allow you to set your boundaries. And that's one thing that I like about, conversating and stuff with people, because you get to know who's what, when, where, and behind a person to make a decision that's best for you. And I had to do that with Audrey. Audrey is still welcome to the channel, but I had to let Audrey know I did not appreciate what she responded back on to a bookum, because that is not true. And it's her perception. If you want to think that I'm somewhere stupid or dumb, or then I was like, well, go ahead on, but you'll be totally surprised if you're over here in my freaking real life to understand and know what I do. No, I am not a scholar major, but I am very, very much so capable of dealing with life situations, talking, or as you guys communicating, solving issues, mediating, all of that. I'm very well capable of it. No, I do not enunciate 12-letter words or so. I give you that. One reason, I mean, it should not be a reason behind it, but I do have a reason behind it. But I, number one, is old as hell. Now I'm getting older, right? Got a birthday coming up this month. Shout out to Pap. Shout out to Pap. I got a birthday coming up this month, and I'm grateful for that, to be here, hopefully another year or so to live out this birthday. But when you leave school and stuff and you don't keep practicing everything that you've learned throughout your growth, 12 years old or 17 years old, down to 20 years old. Sometimes it fades to the rear. And as we get older, it takes a minute. The brain is, slowing down. They say you're supposed to exercise your brain a lot. Well, you can pick up a book like I have done. Every week, I'm reading different books. Right now, I'm reading The Law to Success downstairs by Napoleon Hill. Okay? This book got over about 2,800 pages in it, and I'm enjoying the read. But I promise you, about 5 years or 3 years from now, hell, I'm not going to be able to. I do not know. I have to go back and revisit it to refresh myself, to get my brain to reactivate back to that of what I left. But if I engage with you on something, as far as fixing something, mediating on something, or, what, baby, I got this. Oh, my brain reactivates, and it definitely reactivates or have this sensor in it or whatever to bull crap. I don't know what it is. My discernment, y'all, is so intolerable. I react so fast to a bullshit ass, conference like, what? Because you obviously know when something just doesn't make sense. Like, wait a minute, hold on, let me go on page one, two, three, four, five. Oh, wait a minute. So I ain't as dumb as people, has been told out here. Like I say, but again, thanks, Lady Libra, Joy, all of you guys. K Baby, you pop in. Thank you guys. And I can't express that enough. One thing for sure, and two things for certain. When you are on the other end, because I get on the other end, when I'm visiting other people channels on different things out here, I'm sitting exactly where you guys are sitting, right? And so now I'm voiceless, but my head is spinning because I'm hearing things and I kind of want to go in and I want to type and I want to ask a question. But because of what we all have endured over here in the R. Kelly sector, right? It makes you apprehensive because you don't know whether if the person is going to bite your head off or block you or it's like, why do you want to go through that? So I sit where you guys are, and sometimes, but I take it like this. Well, let me see, what can I learn today? How can I grab something from a channel to make my channel better? Or how can I take a discussion from this channel and have a discussion over here in a different type of way, because you can't be copying people and all of that stuff. But you say the difference with the Diddy case is that no one was out for anything. Everybody was, yeah, you're right. Everybody was getting anything. People supporting him was not calling the people that was taking him down, and people working as informant lying to get off their charges. I 100% freaking agree with you. Now, but when you say that the people that was working as an informant, that kind of happened, during the almost the end. What is it? The trial, preparing for the trial. When it came to some of the young ladies, and as far as being offered things or probably joining the a KL op team and fabricating or manufacturing stories or whatever to go online, and the prosecution align this, and that also comes with the form of questioning that they would do to the ladies on there, on that was taking a stand. Even with Demetrius, it was the type of questioning that they were asking these people that allowed their statement to be heard in front of a juror sound as if it was so true. It's the type of question, it's how the question is formed. Me, myself, I think that R. Kelly trial should have ran a lot longer than what it did. I thought it was just way too short. And I was like, wait a minute, there's no more people. And I'm like other people out here, we got hundreds of people that had so much to say, but none of them were there in his defense as far as them speaking on how close they are to him, or they were there and they did, I'm like, well, but then you heard also that the defense or whatever at the time or whatever did not call them, or I guess their name wasn't on the list, I don't know. But like I say, I peeped in when I can, and to catch up and to stay fresh up on the Diddy case. And now they're at the argument out here whether if, he would be coming home. I watched a lot of people celebrate out there. I also heard the young lady that was out there, and she says that she is a law professor, right? She teaches the law. But I also did hear her say, and this ain't to be starting shit, I'm just telling you what I heard her say, because before Ratchet TV approached the Tisha Tales, right, she had interviewed several constituents down there on her live, and it was shocking because I saw, the infamous Sylvia, and infamous Sylvia has found a whole lot of, different people to go in a different avenue to run a channel with, and shout out to her, right? But and she was mentioning to Sylvia And Sylvia was the only person. She's like, because we know something, right? And then they kept saying that, but we can't say it right now. We're not going to put that out there right now. And then the girl goes, well, ain't that right, Sylvia? And then Sylvia responded like, nope, we not put it out today. So I was like, oh, so Sylvia knows about this too, right? And there was some inside person that allegedly had given them some facts to Tisha Tales. So the young lady and met up with the Ratchet TV, and they said some things, and then no, she didn't meet up with them. She heard Ratchet TV being very, very loud with approaching Tisha Tale, so she runs herself over there to get the tea, but she's also prompting this emotions of Ratchet TV to bolster the. Sorry, guys, got another phone call. It's a young lady at work who says, "Oh, Miss Jackie, I just got issued a letter of warning." I'm like, "Listen, email me a copy of it, and yeah, just not dealing with it today." So, and I got time to deal with it. Be missing work like that. I knew hers was coming, though. I probably could have warned her because I was up front yesterday, and I was like, oh, and I saw her name on the thing, and she's such a sweet girl, you guys, but she got caught up with a young guy, also at work. Let me tell y'all just this little bit of story before I get back to the Tisha Tales, right? And she became fond of him, right? Now, at work, he doesn't have a good track record. He's mesmerized. He's like he like to dip with the little young girls and stuff, right? He's not older. He's a young guy, right? And then, he caught her attention, and they started to hit it off and things like that. Now, mind you, she has a disability, right? And she's expressed it, and so that people can understand if they're not accepting the way that she reacts to how you speak to her or things like that. She tells you right up front that it takes a minute for, my brain to calculate things and to respond to you. So she also, her dress style is more like a Punky Brewster, but I like her. She's cool. She's funny and stuff, right? We're young girls, got to be about 21, maybe 22 tops, right? And so I try to mentor and coach her along the way, but I don't get into people personal stuff like that. But I started noticing because I'm able to pull it, right? It's like, oh my God, what's going on with her? Her attendance, like she done fell off. What happened? So I had called her and had her call me back, and I said, "Are you okay?" And she goes, "Well, I can't help but to notice that this is not like you. Like you literally been here, I think roughly about 8 months now. Like, what? Are you okay? What's going on? Is there something that's distracting you?" Which I kind of already knew, though, right? Hi, Sheila Boo. I kind of already knew, but I wanted to open the door up with her taking accountability and her have sharing with me her understanding of what she may think is going on because I already know. I looked at your stuff. So she was like, well, yeah, and I know, and I just be kind of tired now and things like that. I say, yeah, but you're gonna get in trouble. Why do you want to start a trouble history? Why do you want these people now to always be riding your back? Now, mind you, right, once we open that door up for things that we know that we are doing, right, we always want it to be acceptable, okay? Disregarding accountability. We want it to be acceptable. But somehow she thought that it was acceptable because now she's like 40 something days in and out of not coming work. No, it's not acceptable. They still have their policies and guidelines that they have to acquire to. They have to do so. And so now the first thing she goes was, they're picking on me. Then the second thing is, well, I think maybe I should file an EEO. I'm still waiting her to bag up because that's not the first thing. The first thing is that you have not taken accountability to say that, damn, I miss All them, yeah, you missed all of them days and you thought that they were not going to come after you. That's what you need to open the door with. And then, well, what do I do now, sis? Well, what I mean, what do I do? What do you do? You better hope that I can get up there and try to have them go easy on you as a first offender. That's what you need to do. So she goes, oh my God, I didn't think that they were going to do X, Y, and Z. Why did you not? You know why? Because her guy friend literally told her that, girl, it's okay. They don't bother nobody. They don't do nothing here, right? Knowing that his ass done been on paperwork probably about 8 times. It just so happens that he has the representation, number one. Number two, he knows to clean his stuff up and how much long he has to act out again. See, he's an experienced, a repeatable offender. He knows when to get in it, how long he can play with it, and how to get himself out of it. She's new. So why would you take his advice? And she was like, but he said, and then we stay up all day. And then I was like, oh, okay, so it is him. She goes, yeah, well, kind of. So he's moved on, not away from the relationship. He moved himself into different hours and a different job in the building, right? So there's some separation with her. And I asked her, I said, well, now, coming to you, woman to woman, girl to girl, right? Just having cordial talk like I was doing with Audra, right? How does it feel to know that he's moved on after he has, I don't want to say led you, but I'm going to say led her because she's vulnerable, you guys. She's a very vulnerable young lady. Her mind isn't there. So a man, to me, can easily pick up on that. And then they'll start all of that manipulative and swaying and to get you where you need to be on their train. This is what, but after they destroy you or you allow yourself to be destroyed, where are you going to pick up the pieces at? I myself, look at her like, like a daughter, like, I don't want to see you hurt. So outside of work and stuff like that, I ain't gonna lie, y'all, I be telling her the game. I have to tell her the game. What's wrong with you, girl? You making money just like him. What is your problem? You paying for breakfast? You filling up his gas? You staying over his house all day, then going home an hour before you got to come in, and you like, what is wrong with you? So I had to teach your girl the game. No, boo boo. And like I told, with her guy, because he kind of approached me, he was like, well, you and Rosie good. I was like, uh-huh. But you and her, y'all gonna be good. She just needed a bigger sister to enlighten her on different type of men that are out there, and her being in a vulnerable stage in her life, and because of her mental illness, right? People, I was just teaching her how to not have or allow someone to take advantage of it. And like I told her, girl, you are a woman, and I get that. You're growing. Your body is growing. So it's asking, but that's part of nature. That's fine. But when you're ready to give it, to indulge in it, to have that feeling that our body acquires, you control it. You control what it is that you want to do. You don't, allow it because the feeling is so good to let it take over you and think that this is the only man that can give you that feeling or this or that. No, you control it. You control every aspect of that situation. You could have went and got some and dipped the fuck out. I mean, excuse my French, and dipped out and let that just be that. But once you started, keep going and keep going, and the state that you are in, and you seem very, she's very educated. I can tell you that the girl is very, very smart. It's just some things of dealing with the part of life that just does not resonate, with her to where she can control her narrative. That this is you. And so I felt like I needed to have that. And I pat myself on the back, but that's just the type of kind of person that I wanted to be, that I feel like I am. Let's fix this. Let's fix this so that it can work for you and him. Let's fix this. Have this talk with him. Let's fix this, girl, because, one thing that you don't want to have is this reputation at all. So, because you're a good person. So don't ruin your reputation like that. But, anywho, it's back to the Tisha Tales. So, I heard them say that. So then when the Ratchet TV guy started, bolstering and saying things, and basically he just kept saying that Tisa tells you're a liar. He just kept repeating that. So he wasn't really hitting into the defamation of her character, right? He just kept saying, you're a liar, you're lying on Diddy. And it was basically about her stating that he will be found guilty with this RICO. I put in my community wall about Tisa Tales, whether her perspective, this was her opinion, and how she put it out, that there was no way that she would have known that at all. So it was really up to the public to decide whether if you wanted to run with her truth or not put all of your eggs in one basket, especially when you can clearly see that Tisa Tales is not part of the juror. I'm like, come on, people, where are we at with this? Why are so many people, I couldn't understand it, upset? Especially if you have expanded your brain to have your common sense to click on, turn on light bulb. Tisa Tales is not a juror. Tisa Tales, no way in hell can tell you for a fact, 1,000 trillion fact, that that man was going to be guilty on a RICO. She did not sit in the juror box. She did not go to the back to deliberate over any discovery of anything. She was just putting out here what the heck she was reading or heard and saw. Now, that's all to me, the pedestal that she was allowed to have, like everybody else. Now, I am not defending Tisa Tales. I'm only just delivering you guys my storyline about the situation. So, Tisa Tales goes on, not even bothered by the tiny little hair on my head, right? Or anybody else's. So she just kept going. But then the remark came out with the young lady who stated that her and Sylvia kind of knew about it, and that was that she worked for the prosecutors. Now, it was that young lady that was screaming that, and she kept saying it. And at that point where you can kind of see a pause in Tisa Tell's deliverance of her on her live, because then the Ratchet TV regurgitated it right behind the young lady. Now, mind you, you got 80% of the people out here hostile against Tisa Tales for putting out this information. But yet then, this is double standards, and I put that on my wall too about the kaleidoscope and the Don Russell situation pertaining to her putting up Faith Rogers' picture. Don Russell did the exact same thing, allegedly. It was, I believe, in the paperwork when Faith Rogers' mother came out and they both went to go do their depositions and things like that. It was Don Russell. But yet then, double standards is what I'm talking about. I watch Kaleidoscope constantly put up a Faith Rogers picture speaking about her narrative on Faith Rogers and how they acted and things that her and her mom was saying out here about R. Kelly. And I watched Kaleidoscope put up a defense for R. Kelly in favor of him about a Faith Rogers, or trying to dissect the wrongness of Faith Rogers and her mom. Now, as I went back to watch the video again with Don Russell and listen to that phone call, kind of sounds the same, just different form of words and action. But I saw that. So I put on my wall, which I like to see more engagement in it so that it brings me more clarity and understanding of what the people may be thinking, and then I can go back and look to see if, oh, okay, whether people were right or the people were wrong. But we all know when you express your opinions, a lot of people stand on their opinions. And that is my strong opinion about being double standard, because Kaleidoscope and Bookham does a job as far as throwing stones and putting Don Russell out here as the menace to society against R. Kelly. But that's just on that premises. They're dealing with double standards in the posting of the Faith Rogers pictures and the narrative about Faith Rogers. But when you go back over here to the Ratchet TV and the young lady who put out the information about Tisha Tales was working for the prosecutors, or she got paid for the prosecutors. Now, mind you, because I'm going to backtrack what I just said, when Tisha Tales was doing her deliverance, that little part caught her attention where she paused. And after that, she started rebuttaling back with you. She started rebuttaling back into her live, not directly to the guy. Did she call him the names? Yes, she did. Dusted, broke down, such and such, broke ass ninjas. Okay? Well, then that upset the guy. But mind you, like I said, 80% of the people was like, oh my God. But those 80% of the people, back to double standards, this is how you know where jealousy and hate is real, right? Nobody, and I said I clicked channels, y'all. I'm trying to find it. I could not find a question where anybody contested that statement of her being paid by the prosecutor to that young lady, nor to Ratchet TV. Show how you know this. You know what they said? They said that catchword. You're going to hear that a lot when people want to hide things from you or do not have the solidified evidence that they need to back up what the fuck they said. Who told you this? Where, what, when? Like, nobody asked this young lady this. And as far as I'm concerned, her truth is hitting who gave them this information by her and Sylvia, because she did state that me and Sylvia knows. Ain't that right, Sylvia? Sylvia said, nope, we can't tell it. Well, it's an inside source. Shit like this, and we can kill this stuff here, at least that would push us to at least about 3% of the people not intertwining and confusing and causing situations to occur in a demonic fucking way. But we can't help it because we're human, right? We were born as human beings that just does what we want. This shit is crazy, right? But it's so, like I said, I watched that and there was no evidence put out behind that. But yet then you had Ratchet TV and a few others down there demanding this apology. It's double standards. What is she supposed to do if you now accuse her that she's being paid off by the prosecutors? Now, that was a very strong statement to me, right? It was a very strong statement to me. Do you think that after a couple of days or maybe a week or so that anybody would start their dialogue, their channel, whatever, contesting what that young lady said or to tear her down? No, because 80% of the people out here were already in a position to go after Tisha Tales. Why would they change their minds? Why would they care? Why would they care? They gonna let her say what she said and let it fly. Stick on the wall like shit. But you'll probably never know or see the truth behind that statement. Tisa Tales goes on about, the broke ninja stuff, right? And then, of course, Ratchet TV gets a little bit upset about that. One thing you don't want to do is start challenging a black person with money. Because y'all know how we finicky we could get. Bitch, I got more money than you. Bitch, I got this. Bitch, I got 3 cars and I got this. Bitch, I bought a pond. Bitch, I bought the sun. They go, oh, shit, God, shit is funny to me, right? I think that if you have love in your heart, you're never broke. That's just how I feel. That's just you know, my theory of not being broke. Just have love in your heart. You're never broke. You'd be surprised how stuff just start falling from the tree when we know in reality it doesn't fall from the tree. The apple falls too, that does. I believe in that one, but your blessings will start flowing. You just start having that love in your heart, and you just watch. It does. It does. It works, and you start believing in some type of, you know, God, whichever God you want to believe in. It does. It works. You know, I'm not going to put my testimonies out here like that, and you guys know why. But y'all, when I tell y'all the Ratchet TV had to come on and turn up, baby, and I ain't gonna lie, I got a little bit jealous because I was like, YouTube. I mean, I know YouTube pay because I used to when I was watching the what's the attorney name over there? The attorney, what's his name? I forget his name, you guys. I haven't been on his channel in a long time. He was doing the YSL case too, or um, the district attorney down there in New York. He was following that when I used to come on and talk to you guys about the prosecutor. Oh God, I forgot her name too. I'm telling y'all, my man. Oof, Lord, I got to take some type of vitamin because shit that does not resonate in my personal life, or it's just like if I don't have it written down, it just does not stick long. It doesn't stick. Ashley Merchant, y'all. I don't know what's going on with Ashley Merchant, boy. I like Ashley Merchant fire, but baby, the way she came after, what is her name? Can't think of her name. The black attorney over there in who y'all trying to get rid of in New York. God, I forgot her name. Okay, but anyway, yeah, her. I get the consistency, but baby, this is just a message because I'm getting ready to get up. I got to get dressed because the people are almost here, and I got to put some clothes on. But just a message, guys. The attorney that comes on it and did the YSL trial wears the blue suit coat. Okay, y'all got to know who I'm talking about. I just can't think of his name. Him, and then watching now what the Ratchet TV put up, and he put it up in Tisha. It was for it to be put up in Tisha Tales' face, right? 197,000 super chats, and of course the commentary, right? His analytic videos getting shared and shared and shared. Consistency. I was like, what? Hold up. I'm like, well, Pap, you doing something wrong. You doing something wrong, but you got to just kind of get more into it. Maybe get you a trainer, get on some more videos and learn this stuff and get out there and get you a good support team that won't mind helping you grow also financially while you sitting on here running your mouth. Because I was like, baby, I could pay the college tuition off I could have been paid that in full. I'm just thinking out loud like that. Fannie Willis, thank you, sweet. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It was on the tip of my tongue. And I like Fanny. I didn't like how Trump was calling her Fawny, but I like Fanny, and I'll tell you. Let me give you just a brief reason why I like Fanny. I get it that Ashley Merchant brought this case against her about her and her the significant other. If she's still with him, I don't know. So I'll say at that time, and about the misuse of the funds that was issued to her, the over $600,000 or something, and the traveling and the this and that. That I was okay with Ashley Merchant. Kind of digging in to make sure that the funds was not inappropriately used. I get that. But what I did not like, and granted, sweetheart, C for giving me the name, I appreciate that. I know how court goes. I know your whole bag of dirty laundry is going to come out. But I got in my feelings, see, when Ashley Merchant was on there wanting to dig all up into, where Fannie Willis is staying at, or did the significant other at the time, did he arrive over here? And it's almost like, well, how many times y'all had sex and how many suits you bought him? And I know all of this stuff is going to come out. So I was in my feelings, see, about that, because, nobody wants to talk about their personal bedroom life. Nobody wants to do that. But somehow, now that these cases are going the way that they are going, and if it has to do with relationship with and having partners or multiple partners or traveling over state line or this or that, your whole goddamn sex life is out for the world to know about it. I mean, it's like it's a sticky situation. I get it. And I get it that they try to comb through the hay, right, to dig out what they think will be so stimulating to the juror, and convincing and putting the pieces together. But that part of trial, see, I really, really just despise it. That's why, see, I be over here like, big, you better not never, I ain't never getting in trouble. I ain't going. See, 'cause I ain't trying to let y'all know all about, behind those closed doors. I just can't. Like, you talk about putting stuff in a diary and you lock it up. And you know what else? See, because let me mention this to you. When I started my channel, and like I said, I still do it. I have a Pandora box, and I probably shouldn't be saying this, but I don't plan on ever getting in a situation where all of my things needs to be combed through. But baby, when I find out, if I done heard that I'm under some type of girl, but listen, I'm gonna have to burn my little box. See, I got to get rid of it, and I love my box because I put everything in there that I can't answer. I send it to the Lord, and I just wait on it. And you know what the waiting part about it is, though. See, once you put it in there, you'll be able to detect whether if you still need to. I'm sorry, that was my oldest brother. So he's here too. So I got to go pick him up. We're going to barbecue a little bit later. But I just wanted to tell C that story that would happen. I got to go. It is, see, it's just freaky deaky, freaky deaky. It is, but it draws the crowd in, right? I mean, it surprise me, but then it doesn't surprise me because when you look into your internal self, right? When you're hanging out, let's say that you're at let me put me some sweatpants on while I'm talking to you, right? When you're at, let's say you're at a spades game at my house, or we're playing Deuces Wild or whatever, right? We got a crowd of people here, right? And of course, the jokes and things starts out on you, see, right? Let's just say that. And then all of a sudden, you may have somebody just abruptly blunt out, well, oh, and see doing K, and that boy they be doing some nasty stuff, and he even did, and you know what I'm saying. And now all of a sudden, you went from laughing and having and enjoying the day to like you're upset. You're upset with K because you didn't expect for Kay to be putting out all of your personal freaking business about somebody of something of a little bit of information that they know about. So now you and Kay is falling out, but you've made it your point about how what are we doing, why are we talking about this? Nobody wants to hear this, but in the court of law, and it comes out, and of course now, since it's celebrities like it was with R. Kelly, I mean, all of the ears to me were so glued to the lives, because to me they were more interested in wanting to know how he was doing it, where he was doing it at, who he did it with. That's the capture that I got. That people be waiting on the juicy, you know, sexual details more than they want to hear about interstate commerce, like, oh, okay, well, fuck all that. Yeah, he took her over there, but what happened over there? They want to know. You feel me? See, do you feel what I'm saying to you, right? That's the most important part, because that's the part that most people can now have more talk time about. They don't talk about that. Ain't much talk time that you can put in about someone traveling, doing interstate commerce, right? No. But they can go in on how, the piggly diggly is, and how you flipped her upside down and then hung her from the ceiling fan, and then, and they nasty. See, the people on the outside, we can always call out how somebody else sexual activity is so nasty and so disgusting. That's because you don't know what the hell theirs are like behind closed doors. That's how they do. I don't know. Most people make it seem like it's just the strangest thing in the world. But I always thought sex is just what you make of it in the bedroom. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, sorry about that. My daughter says that she's in the area, so she's gonna pick them up. So I don't have to. She says it's your lucky day. I'm driving by there, so I'll grab them. I'm like, whatever. So you right though. See, there's ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of bumper grind. It ain't, and it sure ain't nothing wrong with it when you are in the privacy of your home. But of course, since their life is on trial, it's their life that is going to get exposed. But one thing sure though, see, once that stuff goes off, nobody else, who's sitting around thinking about it? Nobody. It's only exciting and thrilling and controversial, when you're catching it in the live moment of what they're doing. And then, other than that, you could pick up the phone and call somebody and say, did you hear so and so, so and so? But, like I say, everyone's going to have, back to Tisha Tales, their perspective on Tisha Tales, and rightfully so, because they're off of your personal feelings about a person, and or you've done your research pertaining to her perception of what that RICO and the Mann Act and everything is. I think as far as the majority of the people out here, which kind of seem to appear a lot of puffy fans, and I think it's because a lot of people are sick and tired of the way that they're planning these RICOs on I guess, the black culture, black celebrities, or men in general, maybe it's that, taking them down. And I was watching one show, and he, so captivating. He caught my attention. I was like, wow. And he was kind of breaking it down a little bit. I don't remember the name. I don't even look at the names. I just click on some shit, right? And he was talking about, which we all kind of knew, with the RICO and who it applied to and how it applied to them, as well as the Mann Act also, with the Jack, what's his name, Jack Johnson or something, and taking a woman, the white woman across the state line and things like that. But now they are trying to expound and expand this Mann Act. It does appear that it does not or apply to, maybe the white celebrities or the white culture anymore. It's only just planted out here now for, the richness of the black man, and had Puffy been found guilty on this RICO, this allows them to jail all of his freaking assets and everything, like with R. Kelly. You just want to take everything that a man actually has worked for their entire life. That is just kind of crazy, especially to me. I don't know, I'm not sure, like if there's a will or something that already be written up, or should something contractually be written up once a person has made so much money and became this level of richness that will not, here Ted, will not allow, this is what he wants, this is why he's barking, he want to play ball. To take everything, they get to just strip you from everything. And that I don't agree with. They do it, to my understanding, is so that you won't be able to have access to be able to rebound, to repeat or become this alleged offender that they're saying that you are. This is what their whole, to my understanding, thought process of establishing these elements up underneath the law and what they argue about it. No, we want everything. Well, unless they get everything, right? Let's say they get everything. What do they do with it? What exactly do they do with all of that stuff? They done took all your houses, they're worth a good million or 23 million or whatever. They took all your cars. What do they do with all those cars? They put them in impound and docket them and get them fixed up and resell them, or do they ride around in them as like, police cars or private, what do you call them damn people? Dicks, I guess you would say. What do they do with all of your shit after they get it? Do they sell everything off and recoup all of the money to put in the police fund, or what the fuck they do with it? Do they donate the money over to charities and stuff? What do they do with all of the money after they received all of your assets? What do they do with it? I want to know. I don't know. And I could probably ask Google. Hmm. Now you got all these people out here that thinks that Puff Daddy should be suing, I guess, Cassie back to receive back the prematurely funds that was settled with her within 24 hours. I watched that live. I think it was it CNN or something, her attorney that came out and was expressing thoughts about Casey, or how she felt about the trial and things like that. And what about the last letter that was sent in to the judge? Do you think that persuade the judge? Because she wrote a heartfelt letter saying that, allegedly could be possibly still living in the fear of her life if they let him out and things like that. Do you think that letter persuaded that judge to say, nope, we're going to keep him in until September, or I guess some of up until maybe October, or will there be a speedy, decision on whether to allow him to come out on bond release with those two guilty counts? Do you think it was that letter? Because he read the letter, because then he got a letter behind the Puffy's attorneys, I believe, also. But I think it was a letter. I think it was the latter. I do. Hmm, I do. So and then you have the other element of the people arguments out here on how much time. What is his what do you call it? His scale of them determining how much time he should get. People are predicting he will get to 20 because it's 0 to 10 for each count. So will the judge give him the max of 10 and 10 and make that equal to 20, or will they give him the 2 to 3? And they're saying that Puffy already done served what, the 8 months or the 18 months or something like that, and then that time be taken out. Some people are predicting 2 and 2 and get 4. Maybe he won't get none. I don't know. But at the end of the day, what I do know is after this case, R. Kelly's case needs to be either retried or vacated. I'm sorry, because we're looking at the chemistry of the women that came to speak out to tell their story, or the male prostitutes, or the other guy that was moving substance, controlled substance or whatever, or people that was delivering and moving, and or people that then stole things allegedly from Puff Daddy. It's very similar to the stories that was told in R. Kelly's case about people were doing this and people said this and people were moving this, and you even had a man and people come on talk about a damn tape and where they got it from, how they moved it. But yet then they took everything up underneath all of these people narrative up on R. Kelly's storyline, and which is quite similar to the actions of the people up under Puff Daddy's storyline. They did not convict Puff Daddy on it, but they convicted R. Kelly on it. And that's just, it just didn't make sense to me. So, hey, every day. Hey, how are you, Gemini? Yeah, I absolutely do believe that it was the letter. I think it was their letter. It was an emotional, heartfelt letter. And she was, I guess, the star witness, and she was the person that brought all of this out in the opening for the world to see. So I think that the judge took that and weighted in very heavily to be compassionate and of what she may have or may not have, I mean, say that, went through. I think he really dug and dived pretty deep on that one, because I believe that I heard bits and pieces of the letter coming back from Puffy's defense, speaking on just the fact of, he wants to go over to Miami and he won't be doing this. And then there was something about, they were just making statements that just wasn't heartfelt. There was nothing in it about being apologetic about the things that the propaganda that had occurred out here. And I think that, in my opinion, that they should have focused highly on being apologetic and also thankful and appreciating the deliberation and from the juror. I think that maybe they should have focused a little bit more on that, of the things that had occurred, and to be apologetic, but not on the things that you are going to be doing. It's made a, to me, a big difference. He's going to be doing this and we're going to keep him here, and he's allowed this and he going to do this and this is why he shoot, and he going to be okay. That's it. I don't think the judge, to my opinion, had no interest on hearing what the heck that he was going to be doing after all of these allegations had came out. And I'm going to kind of stand on that, as my opinion, or about how the judge made that decision to say no bond. But a lot of people are hopeful that once he goes back for this bond hearing, that he can be released possible on the monitoring system and things like that so that they can have a close knit on him. I listened to Ray J a little bit until he said on TMZ that, yeah, he's coming home or we're waiting for him to come out today because the first thing I believe he said was going to be a freak off party. Really? He's he just went through turmoil and with people trying to decide things that went on that could have been illegal doings at a freak off. And he said that they were over there setting up, I guess, in his house or whatever, because they about to party. And I was like, yeah, let's do some stuff that they're entrapping people in to fight for their lives, right? You couldn't say at a picnic. You can't say picnic. You can't say, well, yeah, we're finna get together and head out to this big carnival or something to celebrate. You can't just outsmart what the hell that the people are already out here saying that caused this erupted volcano to happen. You can't stay away from that, just like over here in the R. Kelly. And I know there's a lot of you people out there that probably really think that I'm crazy, and you can call me crazy because I normally don't give a fuck. But when I constantly see these content creators put up storylines after storylines about all of these females and how they were intertwined in R. Kelly's relationship or this or that. What I keep in mind is the fact that what was number one presented in the court of law. What did his attorneys, who were his attorneys fighting up against on these pack of alleged lies that they were saying that she was trying to have exposed and find the truth? For all of the other things that was not arguable in that court of law, it eats me to the core. I'm sorry. To dig so far down in R. Kelly's life on who the heck he may or may not have been involved with to bring it to light. You do realize the more you turn on too many light bulbs, the brighter it can be. And with people having different forms and shapes of their perception, can start a whole nother freaking circus around this man. That's, so it does. It kind of, touches me to the core. And I'd be like, really? Really? No, don't fight the people anymore. Fight the goddamn law. You're so mad. Go and fight the law. Because they're the ones that's playing the mind games with you on what the law is saying, but interpreting it and putting it out and manipulating it to make it work for them. Fight the law. Because I'm going to always stand on the fact that if R. Kelly didn't talk about it, or if his attorneys did not expose certain things for whatever reason, then you best to believe if they did not do it. And I'm only saying this because I'm saying this in the form of being positive towards R. Kelly's attorneys, because this is who he's paying. This is who he's paying. Not me, not you, not them. So at some point, I get it. People are trying or try desperately to reach R. Kelly to alarm him of what his attorneys are doing, or are they for him or are they not. That's a sticky situation. It's so sticky because R. Kelly has been left now to not knowing who to believe, or not. I believe that he's just totally baffled by it, and just sitting there and hoping that he has the best representation affordable for him that he can use. You understand? I see you, Louisa, baby. I see you. So it's, if they haven't spoken on it, if they haven't broken it down the way that I see these content creators do so, right? Then to me, you're telling me that his attorneys, one, have not done a great job for R. Kelly. Two, you also have to understand that they probably know everything that you're presenting, but what? This is where it got crooked at, right? This is where you can kind of sit down and ask yourself the one major question: why did not the judge allow certain things to come in of what you guys are presenting out here? Because it's a strong possibility with R. Kelly trusting his attorneys that he pays for, had already discussed every single freaking crevice, crack of everything that you guys are doing. Court is strategize. It's all about strategy. Some things you just can't say or do. It will open up a whole nother goddamn door if the situation is not, let me see how I should say this. If the situation is undermined or silently within you, kind of knowing, it, of some possibilities, I guess I'll stay safe with that, right? So you want this attorney or these attorneys to open up every single crevice and crack. You want everything out on the table. Now it's out on the table. Now I like to know how you would run your defense for R. Kelly if there's an ounce of some of this stuff actually coming back true. I'm going to say that as much as I try to withhold it. So now it's out there. Now he's got to defend this. He's got to defend that. And you're already looking through the lens of how well these prosecutors can manipulate and do the shit because of the power that they are allowed to have. What do I mean by that? Buying or immunity or informants. How you gonna get around that? You got to eliminate that first. You got to eliminate that first. Hatred. Got to be some jealous ass people out there that just want them so bad, which allegedly some of them were on that stand. I ask myself plenty of times, how is it that those two gentlemen, well, Durham McDavid, the one that actually sued him and worked for him and back and forth in Arkansas, and then the other guy, what's the other guy name? Brown, is that his name? Walks out that goddamn courtroom, had a whole different attorney under the premises that R. Kelly had an enterprise. And you listen to their stories on there talking about how they went and got the tape and they moved the tape and Lisa Van Allen picked the tape up and it had nothing to do with R. Kelly, but they chose to prosecute R. Kelly because they had to pin him the head of the freaking octopus like he told them to do it. The juror wasn't hearing that. They wasn't hearing that shit. All they knew was that it was a R. Kelly on trial. And whatever the prosecutors came to manipulate or use as and had given immunity to or used as an informant or paid to fucking lie on that stand. Their goal was to bring the most convincing story to a sequestered freaking jury. Now, I asked myself again, and I saw somebody comments out here saying that none of those jurors from R. Kelly's trial has spoken out yet. And I asked myself, well, if there is allegedly notation or speculation about people being given immunity or intimidated to lie or worked for the prosecution on that stand. Nobody's seen this goddamn juror at all because they allow the narrative to come out that people would be doing X, Y, and Z to these jurors. So they use the form of they fear for their lives, so they're going to keep them safety. So that there already set the diagram of R. Kelly being this freaking monster and has this type of control out here to come and do something to. R. Kelly does not even have a murder charge or a beat up charge other than the story that I heard Azrael put out here about a 12-inch fucking Nike shoe with no evidence provided behind that. Ain't that weird? You could take pictures of every damn thing else, but oh, he took our phones. I forgot about that. But we know a bruise gonna stay for a while, at least till it turns purple. See, it's black when you hit it, purple when it's healing, but it takes a few days in between. So you mean tell me Kelly ain't ran to the store or fell asleep or nothing to sneak a little step? But they snapped and sent all those text message pictures. They can get that. They do shit when they want to, and when they don't, they don't. The ones that the things that they didn't take a picture of or snap or record or whatever, right, is where it allows them now to come out here open freely and talk about the shit, and you supposed to believe it. Shit is crazy. So you have the sequestered juror. So I ask myself, how do we know? How do we know? Or will the public not never know who R. Kelly juror pickers were? We'll never know. You'll never know. These people are just going off. How do we know they're going off? How do we know that these also were not paid well freaking people randomly involved with the goddamn prosecutors? I don't know. I mean, I guess it would be fair to say that it wasn't because the juror selection was also done by R. Kelly's defense team, correct? Right. So they would have seen him. They would have known. But how much background check did they really do, or were they okay just with the questionnaires? Because they were allowed to sit in there. And that's just a speculation that just kind of made me think about that. Like, did they really do a good job background checking, fact checking these jurors when they did the selection of it? I do remember the paperwork on the juror selection where, I think it took a minute for R. Kelly to be involved. I think a motion had to get put in just for him to even be involved in the juror selection. I think that, I'm not mistaken, or was that somewhere around Greenberg time? I don't kind of recall it that way. But then all of a sudden now he's involved in the juror selection when he should have already been involved. Why the hell did he have to put paperwork in to be involved in the juror selection? You know he's supposed to be right there involved in this juror selection. Part of violating and breaking his fucking due process was right there. Right there. If you, I mean, had, now that I'm thinking about if I was at work, because that's exactly how I'm going to win a case without even furthering on any more of an argument. We're going to have to now cease this right here because now I'm calling the goddamn procedural error. You deny it. We're moving forward to the next level. Just on that element right there alone. It was just on that one. But I guess it wasn't enough. And like I say, the way that I'm dealing with it is a different from how the United States of America government fucking laws deal with it. But that was a procedure error. And where I'm at and what I'm doing, you ain't got but one time to make one procedure error. We're gonna start this all over or you're gonna throw it out. But that's how I do over here. But I do kind of remember, that with, okay, they're starting the jury selection and R. Kelly, and then all of a sudden the paperwork came out and he wanted to be part of. Okay, so now he's part of the jury. Oh, bullshit. It's a bullshit, right? So, a lot, everything as far as Puffy's trial, it went accordingly. It actually did. Every procedure went accordingly. The only thing that sucks between, not the only thing, but one element that sucks between R. Kelly and Puff Daddy's trial is that Puff Daddy has access to way more money than R. Kelly. Period. The second element that had its difference of getting representation to the level like Puff Daddy was is it's not too many that would attorneys, in my opinion, that was enticed enough to take his case because one of the Lifetime docuseries, two of the Me Too fucking movement, three of the Times Up that came out here, and they just slandered and da da da. And those particular attorneys that is paid very well to handle cases like that had already decided what they were going to be up against. And the third one is a lot of them that look back at literally what R. Kelly's defense attorney, I can't remember his name, but I do have the video, was saying in that, and then his last trial. Okay, it's allegedly one or two of the same people being brought up in this new trial. Well, they'll look at all of that, and then a lot of them turn their heads like, no, we good, we good. However, the second and the third element will disappear. It would not have no face value to it had R. Kelly been sitting with the type of money that Puff Daddy had, because you would at some point, once an attorney put its standardized fee on what they charge and he had that money, oh, they're gonna come and put up the best goddamn presentation for adjudicating your fucking case. Yeah. So it's damn if you do, damn if you don't. It's damn if you do, damn if you don't. But to be suckered with this and this or this or that. I'm going to elaborate just on one more thing that I put on my wall. And then I'm going to go. And I hope you guys have a wonderful and a safe 4th of July. Also, I'm going to take this time again to express my gratitude. And I thank you all for keeping and maintaining the cheap membership that I have, because I told y'all it would never go up, to help support the channel. And also, it helps me just to have that feeling of the little support that I do have to engage with the people that don't mind coming over and engaging on the One Pap, aka One Papoose channel. And for that, I appreciate y'all. I know my screens ain't popping like, the millions of the views and stuff out there like that, but most of these people have chosen YouTube as their number one financial resource. And because I started out with a financial long term career that I do have, I have to make a decision, and I did make a decision. I can't just drop that. I have benefits. I have life that has to be guaranteed those benefits. And YouTube does not offer that, other than you can make thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on here with you being consistent, with you being, you know, valid, with you gaining hundreds and hundreds of supporters out here, even if there are box viewers or you're buying into your sponsorship and people promoting your channels, you can get up there. So that right there is just a word of an encouragement to all of you guys that come on here and you want to start this channel and you want to start making money. Hey, it's easy to do. You're sitting around, you can vlog washing dishes every day, vlog about the type of dish detergent you use and all of that stuff, and change it up and put your thumbnails up and grow your channel and start bringing you some money inside your home. Because if they can do it, so can you. Just don't be afraid. Just come on out here and stumble over your words and laugh and have a good time just like I do. But I love you guys for that. And I appreciate that until I can get a little bit more time to come back out here and have these type of conversations with you guys and my damn shits and giggle and my laughter on a lot of stuff that does go on around a YouTube channel, right? But back to what I post on my wall, because I want to be done and go, because now I'm about to get ready to have company here and it's going to get a little loud. And shout out to DJ Tyson. Yeah, y'all saw the wedding video that popped up on my screen like this morning. I was like, oh, I clicked on YouTube. So shout out to that. That's, when you get into a period of your life where, hey, I want to find happiness. Hey, I want to complete my journey with someone, allow them to learn me and get inside me. And then I want them to share me, because nobody wants to die alone, bury themselves alone, can't pass it on, can't do that. None of that. Thank you, LaKendra. Thank you, LaKendra. I like me some LaKendra. Me and LaKendra got this laugh out of this world. We're going to have a laugh channel, though, where we sit up and talk about stuff. And I'm glad that we're able also, LaKendra, to move past all of these freaking opinions, even being on the opposite of side. Because at the end of the day, it ain't about me and it ain't about you. We're not locked up. But so that's that. And I tried to express that to Eva or Eva OCOB, right? They don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at me. Yeah, all of us have our channels and we critique it and react to it in so many different ways. But a lot of the hatred got to go. And there's only one person, and y'all already know that I would never open my window to throw water out if that bitch was on fire. Ain't gonna never happen. And that's all because I spent ample amount of time for it to stop. That's not what it is. Don't join that bandwagon. I promise you, don't do it. Don't do it. But she did it. She wanted to get some impressions. I don't know what it was, but you're not going to use me. And after I asked, and I told you guys, y'all know I'll get up to 30 days going in. On my way back and forth to work, just clicking the button off and on, just shooting or whatever. Shut that shit down, because I know I retaliate. And I'm working on that, right? I am working on it. Audrey disappointed me because I didn't care about what these people were saying about her out here. And for me to ring you up and decide, let me have a grown folk talk, and hey, that statement that was said, that's not true. And then, we started talking a little bit about this and that. And then you type something out here about, oh, well, Pap, lack of understanding. And she's dumb. And start talking about, well, I don't know if maybe she said something about a lynch mob. No, the fuck I didn't. So I didn't appreciate that. I'm cool with her, but there's a limit right now. There's boundaries, because I only allow really a person to fuck me once. If I don't like that fuck, you got to go. That's just like a nigga. If I didn't like your fuck, you got to go. So don't fuck me. Don't rub me wrong. I'm good people. I'm good people to hang the fuck around. I promise you that. And I'm fair and I'm honest. I'm real. But I will fuck you back if you fucking rub me wrong. I'm working on that. I'm working on me. So, but on my wall, because the company is here, right? And so I'll see if I can make this quick. I put up, actually, I'm going to come back later because it's going to get loud. My brothers are loud. Now I got two brothers here, y'all. This is my oldest brother. And when I say, yo, man, I don't want to talk about him or nothing like that, but like, okay, this is my brother. Like, dude, you need to get the help you need because this motherfucker crazy too. They are. But what can I say? You know, they're my brothers and I love them. But we can do this to family. You understand what I'm saying? I can do this to them. They're going to talk about my ass back. I'm going to get my hair down today, get me some clothes on. And I do want to come back, maybe live tonight, because I want to talk to y'all. I want to laugh with y'all. I want to hear what y'all got to say. What is y'all opinions about the things? Do y'all think, this should happen? Do you think that R. Kelly should probably get a retrial? Or what are y'all thoughts about it? But Tisha Tales, she ain't losing nothing. She actually probably didn't gain more people, But when that boy put that he made 197,000 up. I'm like, shit, I've got to come on in and turn the bar. Listen here, y'all. I got five. I'm super chats. I want 5 super chats for today, y'all. Come on now, hit the super chat. Throw your girl $1 for y'all know it's a little $1 for a pap. Took a little pressure off of me from paying for my goddamn Amazon or this or that. I thank the Lord I have not had to buy any equipment yet, except for we all know Windows 11 is coming. Y'all better be prepared for Windows 11. If you're running anything less than that, run at Windows 10. You want to stay up on your security and privacy on that Windows 10. So get up and get educated on the Windows 11 because we're going to need it. Bye-bye, you guys. Thanks, LaCadra. I will appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Thank
Oh, you
you.
want to talk to me?
I ain't nobody talking to you.